Hey guys, Paragon here and welcome back to my How to Crucible series. In this week's episode, we're going to go through map control. So map control is a combination of your map knowledge, your gun skill, and your positioning. These three things put together are going to make you a force to be reckoned with. If you can get strong map knowledge, strong gun skills, and you learn how to position, your map control and your overall presence in the match, you're going to have a huge impact on the outcome of that game. So the first thing I want you guys to look at is your opening route. Now, most people, when they're new to shooters or they haven't really spent time developing strategies, the first thing they'll do is run straight to the middle of the map. Now, this is where most people are going to be, and you're going to be able to get into the action, get in those firefights quick. But the problem with this is you don't actually have advantageous angles to take out your opponents with. You're jumping into fights where you can get shot, you're getting contested, and it's not necessarily beneficial to be in that position. So what we need to do is we need to have a look at how most maps are designed and develop a strategy around that. So most maps in shooters will have 2 or 3 lanes or 3 paths for you to choose to go down. Now let's take Pantheon, because this is a really simple one to understand. Pantheon has 3 main areas. You have the cliffside, the mid, and you also have the waterfall. Now different zones of the map have different environments that really play to a certain style. So if you've got shotguns, you want to be in that middle section of the map and in the little choke points going under the bridge and in between those areas, because that's where you're going to have your strength. If you've got a sniper, you want to be on waterfall or in that corridor in mid to press your advantage. So you need to understand, if you're going to run a shotgun, you're going to need to be in those choke points to control them. If you're running a sniper, you need to be around those choke points trying to control them. So thinking about your opening route, you should be going around the outside of the map. Why? This is now going to give you flanking options and crossfire options on the enemy. If you can get a good triple or even a double kill early on in the game, capture a flag, or even look at trials for example. If you can get a good flank early on and get a double kill, you've effectively turned it into a 3v1 situation and the pressure is on that player. If we look at a 6v6, if you can get the first 2 or 3 kills, capture that flag, your team has now started to snowball. Now the snowball effect is huge in this game. Because of supers, snowballing plays a really big part in what's going to happen, especially when we get to the heavy ammo drops. If you've got supers, you have a really strong contest for when the heavy ammo drops. You'll see me here, I'm way too aggressive here. I'm out of position, I've wasted my super and just gave the enemy a free kill. Not a good idea. I should have stayed back, kept controlling my zone, and worked through there. But the key point to take away with the opening route is make sure it's setting you up for an advantageous encounter for your weapon setup. So make sure you're picking your angles. Don't just mindlessly run into the middle of the map. Think about how you're moving around. Now, map knowledge. This is one that sort of comes with time. There's no sort of set way of, oh, this is how you learn a map. You need to just keep playing the game and you'll learn how map flow works, where players are going to be on the map, where the sniper spots are, where the strong zones are for the shotguns. But once you learn this, use this to your advantage. Think about your playstyle and your weapon setup for that map. Pantheon, for example, is a map I love to snipe on. Why? Because it has so many open areas, but it's still viable for guys with shotguns or people who play a bit more aggressively to get those kills and work there. For me, in particular, this map, Benefall, I don't mind running shotgun or sniper. It really depends on my mood, and I'm going to change my playstyle accordingly. You'll notice I use this courtyard as sort of the anchor for my strategy in this game. I'm using this to basically control the map. So what happens, guys, when you learn how to utilize your positions on maps, you're going to notice many more play options opening up to you. You're going to realize more flanking options, crossfire. You're going to be able to get behind the enemy or even just push them into a position that is hard for them. So this choke point here, that guy had 2 options: run at me and keep getting shot, or run back. The problem was he had no cover to run back to, so that gunfight was very easy for me to win. So utilizing your choke points is very strong. If you can control choke points and stop the enemy from either getting pressure on objective or pressuring your teammates, you've now relieved pressure and you've got control of that area or that part of the map. So maintaining pressure on high traffic areas is very important. Whether it be with a sniper or a shotgun or even your primary, how you set up around that doesn't mean you need to camp. So as you'll see here, I'm now using my angles, using this flank, and I get a really great crossfire, which ends up giving me a collat. Not only do I get the collat, but they had a really strong push on the B flag. I now shut down a super, I got a triple kill, I got a super kill, and I stopped them from taking the B flag, essentially preventing them from starting to snowball and get a comeback into this match. So that play was huge. Unfortunately, Mr. Laggy Blade Dancer here decides to cut me in half. It's Iron Banner, guys, what do you expect? But that play was a really, really strong moment in the match. Much better than my previous play where I went too aggressive and wasted my super. So let's look at using cover. So with map knowledge, you're going to know where the strong parts are on the map, where people are sniping from, where people are going to be shotgunning from, and where the high traffic areas will be. So this now opens up your game to allow you to look at how to use cover. Now, if you watch most of the angles that I take when I'm approaching that B flag from the seaside, is I'm using that pillar there as my main source of cover. I'm going in and out of line of sight to prevent my enemy from having a strong attack back. Unfortunately, I didn't see that guy when he ran through, and he got a really strong shot on me while I was hardscoping. But if we can use our angles correctly and utilize cover, it's going to make it much easier for us to win our gunfights. If there's only a small part of my body sticking out, it's much harder for my enemy to hit, as opposed to me just running out in the open and giving them my full body and presenting them with many options of how to attack me. We want to use that cover well. So using it offensively and defensively is pretty much the same thing. When I'm going offensive, I'm using it. Head glitching is not a bad thing. Head glitching is using your cover and being smart. As you can see here, I'm using the side of that barrier to prevent him from being able to kill me. He had more health, but he shouldn't have contested them because I had the sniper. I used my cover well, I used my Keen Scout perk well, and I was able to win that engagement. Again, same thing. I'm using my cover and my crossfire, and I'm not even getting shot at while I'm over here, and I'm just getting free kills. Now, using cover defensively, you want to break line of sight. Now, this clip coming up, you're going to see a great example of me using cover offensively, using it to bait my enemy around the corner to get me an easy kill. I then use my super. Fortunately, 2 more guys try to contest, and I'm able to pick up another 2 kills and capture the flag. So 4 kills and a flag capture just because I used my cover in a smart way. So using that cover is very strong. So when we go to a defensive position, when we're trying to hide, not necessarily hide, but use that cover to get away, use all the skills you've got. Use your shade step, use blink, use your jumps, use your slide, whatever you have available to get behind cover and break the enemy's line of sight. Don't always run in a straight line. Be unpredictable with your movement, so that when you're going in and out of cover, your enemy's going to have a hard time on lining you up for another shot. So the last thing we're going to go through, guys, is spawn points. Now, in a 6v6 situation, the ideal position for you to be in is to have some kind of spawn trap. So as you can see, most of this map, we've had 2 flags, the enemy team has had 1, and we've held them in a spawn trap, giving us a strong position. We know where the enemies are coming from, so that makes it easier for us in our gunfights and our encounters and positioning on the map, because we know where they're going to be. Put this in a 3v3, take Trials for example. If you know where the spawns are on Trials, Cauldron for example, spawns both teams very close to each other, and most people usually rush to that room. But a very successful counterplay to that is to rush directly across to where your enemy team spawns and try and get a pick early if they don't rush to that room. So using your map knowledge and knowing the spawns is very important. Now, spawn flipping needs to be done in a smart way. If you have 2 flags, do not flip the spawns. There is no need to push for a 3rd cap unless the enemy team has spawned in your base for whatever reason. They're spawn flipped without you pushing. You then can go and push their base. But think about having 2 flags, leaving them at 1, controlling those spawns is going to make your life much, much easier. So guys, to recap, your opening route, make sure it's strong, pick your angles, learn the maps, control the choke points, and use spawns to your advantage. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment, and be sure to tune in for more Destiny guides, tips, and tricks. See ya!